I mean, has it been a gamble, or did you feel really confident you knew where you were going to end up?
I'm very surprised at how well the game has been received, not just in America, but around the world. My dream is still to realize the film, but I'm also realizing that through the game, I can get the same storyline and the same ideas across to a wide audience, without the need to have to go through a movie distributor.
But the game, you're hoping the game will sort of, like, basically finance the film?
That's a possibility.
You still want to make the film?
Yeah, still want to make the film. I got the script already written, and yeah, it's going to be a great movie. And I always thought in my back of my mind that this would be a great movie because it deals with a lot of issues that I had while growing up. And it has a lot to do with me and my older brother and the struggles that we had, growing up.
So there's a real human, something everybody can kind of relate to in these characters.
Definitely,
I mean,
definitely.
Which is maybe the key to this, why it's been so successful.
I hope so. I hope so.
So do you want to do more games, or do you just want to kind of offshoot this game with maybe some different levels or variations, or?
Well, we want to continue making more Battle Bears games because our fans are actually demanding more. Okay. And that's very flattering, and of course, why not? We have the ability to make these games, so we're going to make more. So we have 2 games coming out soon, towards the end of May. There's going to be Battle Bears -1. Okay. That's a prequel to Battle Bears Zombies, and then there's Battle Bears Go, which is an exclusive for the iPad.
Okay. Yeah. Does it get harder as you keep doing it, or do you get sort of in this sort of place where it becomes easier, or the ideas come easier because you're so into that world of the Battle Bears?
I feel like it gets harder because we want to push the technology that's available on these devices to the limit so that we can realize our vision. Because they're, as beautiful as these machines are that Apple makes, they are slow and they are limited in memory and such. So it really forces you to trim down, cut corners, things like that, in order to get your idea or get that experience across that you're aiming for. So yeah, so that's a constant struggle. So even when the iPad came out, the iPad offered a bigger screen, a faster processor, but even then we're already maxing out what is capable of the iPad. So we're always going to be pushing it up against that barrier.
Talk about the gaming and doing this in Nebraska, in Omaha, the positives and the negatives of it. Have there been any negatives to doing this here, or any roadblocks, or any things you have to, has it been welcomed by the business community in terms of trying to get support or investors or whatever? And what do you think has been better here than maybe if you tried to do this in like California or a bigger market?
Everybody around us in Omaha and Nebraska have been very supportive of Battle Bears and Skyvu Pictures. We would not be where we are today without the support of the Nebraska Angels group that invested in Skyvu Pictures as an animation company.
And that is a what do you call that?
It's a for-profit group.
Right, but it's like a, what do they call that? It's like seed money or investor group, right? That invest in businesses that they feel are going to, bring back income, like stocks.
And what they want to do is their group wants to obviously invest their money wisely and invest it in companies that are going to bring revenue to the state of Nebraska. And that's what Skyvu is trying to do as well. Because Skyvu sells our games not just in Nebraska, but we sell it around the world. So even if it's just for 99 cents per each download, 70 cents comes to Skyvu, 30 cents goes to Apple. But if you add up a lot of downloads, then it becomes a really nice revenue stream.
What are you thinking in terms of Nebraska and the future of this? What are you hoping will happen here?
I don't think too hard about this industry because I'm not we're so new to this gaming industry, and part of the reason why I think Battle Bears is successful is because we didn't have experience in how traditionally games are made. So we just kind of dived in head first, and we were able to come up with something that was unique. And I like to try my best to kind of maintain that spontaneity, that naivety, I guess, so that we can make games that haven't been done before.
It seems like I've heard that before, that sometimes the most successful people in business are people that really don't have a lot of background or don't know of all the, it's like if you're experienced and know all the pitfalls and know all of the, it sort of hinders you from that the creative side of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think you hit it on the head there. You know, it allows you to just that freedom, and then that freedom breeds the success of what you're doing.
I feel like it's, sometimes you go to a museum, and if you ever try to draw in a museum, sometimes when I go on these vacations, I bring a sketch pad with me, and if I go into a museum, I can't draw. There's too much good stuff out there, and it's like, why should I draw? You know, but sometimes I see a painting that inspires me. But in general, it's like, if you know, sometimes I feel like if you know too much, then you're not going to step into it, and if you don't step into it, you won't know. Same thing with the App Store. 150,000 apps or more. 60,000 or so games. How in the world can our game possibly compete? Well, I guess we were just kind of stubborn. We just said, okay, I don't see any games out there that involve a teddy bear with a gun shooting off other cute teddy bears. Maybe somebody out there is going to like it, because if I like it and my 5 other artists like it, then there's, if you got to hope that maybe there's 10,000 per rate, so 50,000 people out there. So it's like, okay, let's go for it.
So did you know what the process would be to get the game accepted and approved and all that, or did you kind of do it step by step?
A little bit step by step. I had some smaller projects. Skyvu Pictures also owns a division called Storyboy, and that's more of our family-friendly side of the company, where we produce digital ebooks for children between 3 and 7 years old. So I made a book called Trucks, and it's just about 18 or so trucks that kids can just tap on the truck and it says the name. And we made a book called Kids First Bible. And those 2 apps I sent through first as a learning mechanism, so I could figure out how to navigate through the App Store. And then after that, I sent Battle Bears through Skyvu Pictures. And but ironically, Trucks is still ranked, is in the top 25 books on the iPad store, and Kids First Bible is also ranked in the top 20 on the iPad store.
And are you going to do more of those kind of things too, or?
Yes, my brother runs the Singapore side of the company, and the Singapore side of the company mainly takes care of the Storyboy content. So with Storyboy, we use it as a means to create original content for low cost, so that we can establish our characters, because we have all these ideas for characters and storylines and stuff, and you can't dedicate an entire budget to creating a movie or a short film or a game on every single one. But for a 20-page book, we might be able to churn that out in a week or 2. So why not get it out there and then trademark it and see, and more importantly, see what people's reactions are to it. Because if you're not getting your work out there and getting people's reaction, you don't know if it's really a good idea or not, or whether it's going to fly.
What's a typical day like? I mean, tell me about what a typical work day entails, when it starts and when it ends. Because I don't think people understand. They see this kind of stuff and they think everything's fun and easy and just happens, I don't think they think there's a lot of work involved.
It's a lot of work. It starts off, I drop off my son at school, and then the moment I drop him off, my brain is on either Battle Bears or another idea. And then, it's just like any other business where you have to plan out, your project and make sure that all the artists are in place and know what they have to do. And then you have to have a clear idea that everybody is working towards that clear idea.
So do you have a staff meeting every morning or once a week, or?
We try to have meetings, at each artist's desk individually,